This program is brought to you in association with First National Bank of Botswana. We have come to the end of the year yet again, and like clockwork, every corporate individual, every business owner, any employee and employer anywhere will tell you just how fatigued they are and how they can't wait for festive break. It is believed that professionals today are undoubtedly feeling the pressure of an always-on work culture, causing stress which ultimately leads to fatigue or burnout. A 2022 survey of 15,000 workers across 15 countries by McKinsey Health found that a quarter of employees experienced burnout symptoms. These stats show no signs of slowing down, as Gallup's State of the Global Workplace Report of 2023 suggests that while of course the world is recovering from the effects of the pandemic, employees are still grappling with record high levels of stress due to feeling fatigued. 44% of respondents said they experienced a lot of stress within their current positions. In fact, the same report states that with these stress levels becoming more and more unmanageable, Google search data revealed that the search for signs of burnout increased by 24% compared to the previous year. Unsurprisingly, this has been proven to be a contributing factor to escalating rate of non-communicable diseases and mental health issues such as hypertension, heart disease, anxiety and depression, amongst others, amongst the working class. The question then becomes, what is the way forward? Mentor and mental health coach Wairimu Gachungi is on First Issues to share her thoughts on the matter.
End of year fatigue is fatigue that has been accumulated over 11-12 months. And this is maybe as a result of overload of work. But how does this overload of work come by? Sometimes you get a lot of stuff on your portfolio. Maybe because we want to prove a point, or maybe because just that is how work is. Or end of year fatigue could also be as a result of not planning well. And so we keep pushing goalpost, and at the end of the year you're feeling, I have a goal that has not been achieved, or I need to make sure that I get a bonus. So I am adding on myself things that I need to prove to my employer or even to myself. And before you know it, you are having less hours of sleep, you're not eating well, you're not exercising, you're not living a holistic approach, as I said before. So you're not taking care of your social, you're not taking care of your emotional, you're not taking care of your mental domain, you're not taking care of anything. It's focused on work. And before you know it, you have a burnout.
Well, ultimately, because we're working in this type of world, the economy needs to run. Yes. Goals need to be met. Targets and deadlines have to be met as well, right? So how do you strike that balance, really, of you taking care of your social, your mental, your physical, and then your professional life?
It might sound like it's a big thing, but it's call for planning. Mm-hmm. And balancing, and knowing that you're one person who live in all these spaces, that are your mother, yes, that you're a wife, that you're an employee, that you're a daughter, that you are all these, and you have to plan. And there has to come a time you say, I cannot do that thing this year. There's still a year to come. And you bring this to your organization so that you avoid to have people who are burned out. Ponatseho, I have been privileged to work with government institutions, and what I have found, people who suffer year in, year out of these end of year fatigue, they're angry, they're frustrated, and they're unproductive. And the best way to do for yourself apart from planning is also sometimes finding some time to debrief. How many organizations have a set time for their employees to debrief? Some team building activities. And I'm not just saying that people go and play some balls out there. It's meaningful team building to say, what resources do we have amongst our team members? You know, who is able to help us in more planning, who is able to help us in executing, who is able to help us in implementing, who is lagging behind, so that we bring all of us together. And also saying that, hey, people, I'm struggling on this one. Instead of burning yourself out and then take the next year or the following year, half of it being unproductive.
But how feasible is that, Wairimu? How practical is it? Because at the end of the day, the bottom line matters. Is an employer going to be like, oh, you're tired, so just, take some time out? How feasible is it to plan that I can't do this today, I will do it next week, when it's supposed to be submitted in 2 days?
I think, I don't know how feasible is that, but I think it is people identifying what they can and what they cannot. Because your employer is a human being. You go back to them and say, sir, ma'am, I thought I could do this, and I don't think I can achieve this in the given time. If it's okay, can it be delegated to somebody else? Or can you give me some more time? I think for me, Ponatseho, is the fear of being seen as not good enough again. Yeah. So we want to prove a point, even when we know it's beyond us. When we know, I remember, let's take for example a student at master's level. I went back to school when I was older, and I realized what I could and what I could not do. And I set high targets for myself. I wanted to be the best student. You want to excel with whatever grade, and you have 2 years to complete that. How feasible is that? So you find yourself that you're neglecting some things. I got the good grades that I wanted, right? I became the best student that I wanted, but some areas suffered. So, but at the end of it, you are burned out. If I was to do this again, there are courses that I would not have taken, like 5 courses at the master's level. I would have pushed them to the next year and finish well. Okay? And so you find that even at our places of work, when I worked for an NGO for a long time, because it was a British NGO, you get pushed. You know, you have donor funding. You have to report. You have to report numbers. And so I'll drive from Gaborone to Maun in one day, and in the evening I have a meeting. And then from there you drive to Shakawe, so that the following day you are in Hansi, Tabong, and then Gaborone. How does one person do that? At the end of the year, you are burnt out, you have a bad backache, so you're using the following year going to the hospitals. Have we benefited from that? So for me, it is planning.
So let us talk to close our conversation on further mental health implications that could result from consistently and constantly going through burnout?
That's a very good question, because the risk is that we get into bad habits. You know, you find release in maybe start taking a glass of wine. Before you know it, you're taking 2, 3, 5. Other things will come into mind as things of NCDs. Your eating habits are not good, you're not exercising, you're developing high blood pressure, you know, you're going through anxiety, depression, and before you know it, you are not functional because of burnout. What can I recommend? I recommend that individually know what you can. Continuously talk to somebody. talk to your colleagues, talk to your friends, but also get some help. There are a lot of counselors around.